Greetings, ex-communists, and welcome to Operation Dark Angst. Actually, I said that wrong. Dark Angst. The plan of this mission is counter-psychological warfare. The team has been listening to soul-crushing screamo music the entire flight. The plan is to trick the aliens into using their brain powers and read our minds. By the time that they do, our soldiers will be in a complete state of despair, self-loathing, and petulant anger because of the music. The aliens, not used to such depressing thoughts, will immediately give up, shouting, "The world is pain!" and we get an easy win. In the meantime, Eva Lemmy-san has the taser, so we can then use that to capture the depressed aliens. Once we do that, we'll pile back into the plane, turn on our pilot's playlist that has such upbeat music as Walking on Sunshine, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and Jitterbug, all sure to remind us that the world is just awesome. The only way this plan could fail is if that large UFO that landed there has no psychic aliens. But what are the odds of that?
Bum, bum, bum.
So we start the mission off and find that the canister is really close, so we should expect some trouble pretty soon. I put Jimmy up on the high ground and move everyone else down below. DJ Sucre moves up and we find a flock of floaters. Unfortunately for them, Jimmy has her hunting license and it's open season on all floaters. With the other two, I have the problem of no good shots. I run and gun Eva Lemmy-san up to get a juicy, medium rare flank shot. But apparently Eva Lemmy-san prefers her meat cooked a little more thoroughly. I then run and gun Citrus up to finish up Eva Lemmy-san's meal. But he's apparently on a diet. But this is why I leave the trio of DJ Sucre, Gemini, and Beetober for last. We let Gemini soften up the hardest to reach floater with collateral damage, then DJ Sucre finishes it off with a grenade. Beetober is then used so that we can suppress the other floater, so that if he does decide to shoot, he'll be at bad odds. But if he moves, we at least also get an overwatch shot. The only way this could go poorly for us is if it moves and Beetober misses the overwatch shot. Well, this has gone poorly for us. He can now completely flank? Okay, we are once again quite surprised to see how stupid floaters are. He had both Citrus and Eva Lemmy-san dead to rights if he just moved once. Then he could have either shot them or gone into Overwatch. Instead, he moved twice and then chose to hide behind the half cover of a fallen log rather than the full cover of the canister just 3 squares to his right. It seems like a good time as any to point out axiom number 6, being lucky is an acceptable alternative to death. This is also a great time to capture our first alien. The reason this is good is that we have full control over this alien's life. Citrus can knock it down to 1 HP with his grenade, then we can send Eva Lemmy-san in with 90% chance to capture. And if the capture fails, we have lots and lots of shots that we can use to take this alien down. You always need to have a backup plan for a failed capture. That's why axiom number 9 is, don't attempt to capture something you can't kill.
Don't tase me, bro!
It's at this point that the meme police fly in to stop us from using outdated internet references. But if XCOM wants to use references from 2007, we're gonna do it. Gemini, inform them that we aren't putting up with their crap anymore.
This is Sparta!
And with that, Gemini Spark has earned a promotion. Next in our promotion priorities list is Emi-san, and she doesn't appreciate that this floater is thinking that he's above everyone else. Beetober captures the meld, and we have 1 meme cop to go. Moving DJ Sucre up, we find a brand new bag of problems though. Those may look like the roided up cousins of the grunts from the Halo series, but I assure you they are much worse. These boys are called mutons, and they are trouble. But before we can deal with them, DJ Sucre has to take care of the problem right in front of us. Now, mutons can cause a lot of problems for more than a few reasons. 1, they have 10 HP. That's twice as much health as an outsider. Second, they wield bigger guns than anything else we've seen, and can throw grenades. For that reason, the moment you see mutons, you need to make sure your party is nice and spread out to discourage the grenade's use. And if these 2 bad boys weren't enough, 2 squid bots decide to join the fray. This is a problem. Squid bots encourage us to group up and have overwatches covering one another. Mutons encourage us to spread out. Mixed forces require us to prioritize. Getting strangled is bad, but losing our faces to plasma fire is worse, so we're prioritizing the mutons. First, we need to make sure where the squid bots are, so we use Jimmy's battle scanner. Now that we know their location, we can take advantage of Citrus's 2 awesome abilities. First, we use run and gun to get him up close and personal with the mutons. Next, we use rapid fire on the muton in the back. By every measure, your life is done. That's my statement about my flagrant rapid fire gun. And in the spirit of that Doublemint Gum parody, we're doubling down on this tactic by running and gunning Emi-san behind the other muton and dropping it like a beat. With those two massive threats gone, we can now deal with the squids. DJ Sucre tries to follow in the footsteps of Luigi and kill himself some bloopers, but he just doesn't have the fire flower. Gemini then tries his luck and finds that the metal suit is much more effective. Beetober cooks himself some calamari, and we're off to find ourselves the other Meld and the Outsider. Now, after the adventure we had in Operation Lawful Lantern, we'll be more careful with how we move out. Luckily, it appears the Outsider is in the room we expect him to be this time, and we capture the second Meld with time to spare. Now, it's very important that I capture this Outsider. Progressing the story requires us to capture any alien, interrogate it, also capture an Outsider and study that. So we want to get ourselves in the best situation possible for this fight. So the first thing we do is block one possible escape route with Jimmy and Gemini, and have the other covered with Emi-san, Beetober, and Citrus, with having DJ Sucre in the back as any sort of insurance policy should things get out of hand. Citrus opens the door, and the Outsider runs for cover. Citrus gives chase, softens him up with a pistol, and we use Gemini's collateral damage to further soften him up. Sadly, both only did 1 damage, so we only have 70% odds on this capture. But, should it go south, we do have Jimmy right there to make sure this guy goes down. We capped him, zapped him, and now it's time for Evil Emi-san to trap him. Operation Dark Angst should have been named Operation Bright Smiles because all the soldiers are grinning after a mission that perfect. No damage, didn't panic under pressure, 2 Meld, and we got 2 aliens to throw into the Xeno containment unit. Cue up the soundbite.
2 in the box! Ready to go! We be fast and they be slow!
With Ghostbuster references and Wham raising our spirits, we feel on top of the world. But what was that curious crystalline creature that we captured?
Is that all that's left of the specimen we attempted to capture?
Yes. I believe we may have found the source of the strange readings we picked up when we first encountered it.
Awesome.
What is it, Doctor?
We're not exactly sure. It
Then
is
remind me
organic
what I'm
in
paying
nature,
you
yet
for.
highly magnetized, and it appears to resonate very faintly within a specific electromagnetic spectrum. It is currently unclear how or...
Perhaps that's because this is outside your field of expertise, Doctor.
Ooh,
If what you're
burn.
saying is true, this object is an antenna, one that's receiving a signal.
That signal. Can we trace it?
No.
Would someone
least
just
not
give me
yet.
some good news?
We would first need to determine its encryption algorithm.
My team can handle that.
Ho ho ho!
In that case,
Valen's got
I
a
will
safe
focus
face
on
after
constructing
Chen's
an
verbal
interface between
beatdown.
this object and our global communications array, which we'll need to trace the signal.
Then it looks like researching this crystal should be our top priority.
Why are you talking like William Shatner? Star Trek actors aside, we are quite pleased to get 3 more promotions. 03 Beetober is now a captain, and I feel the choice is obvious. Dense smoke makes the support smoke grenade bigger and more effective at their job. Combat drugs increases our will and crit chance. While that's nice and all, the smoke grenade's job is to keep us safe and covered, and dense smoke does that better. So, dense smoke is the choice. 09 Gemini Spark is a sergeant and has earned the nickname Legion, though I was really hoping for Torso Boy. Regardless, he has a very interesting choice. Vital point targeting confers an extra 2 damage on anything we've autopsies. That's a weird but kind of awesome bonus. If we combine that with his collateral damage ability, we'd have a very reliable source of 3 to 4 damage at nearly all times. Damage control, on the other hand, will reduce all damage taken by 2 for the next 2 turns after he's been damaged. When there are a lot of targets and I want Gemini to tank the damage for the rest of the team, this could be a godsend. So I take damage control, though I am conflicted about it. 05 Evil Emi-san is now a corporal, and I'm going with tactical sense, no questions asked. We also got a Crimson Typhoon cross. Neat. Now, with We Have Ways, we will take advantage of our instant interrogations and autopsies by stopping our research on heavy lasers and get to work on brain probing this floater. How does the interrogation machine work? Glad you asked. First, we turn on these expensive looking speakers and play a song that will drive the aliens so crazy that they will spill their guts and be happy about it. With that now stuck in our heads for the rest of the review, let's see what the results are.
So, how'd it go, Doctor?
Better than expected. Before the creature expired, I was able to extract some new information from it.
You're saying that thing spoke to you?
Not precisely, but when you have access to a creature's brain, certain patterns can be discerned, recent images and thoughts.
Like a strange
What
running
exactly
cat
was
with a
that
Pop-Tart
friend
body.
thinking about?
This particular image appeared in the creature's thought patterns several times throughout the procedure. And there was a neural link in the creature's mind between this image and this one.
That's the
That
thing pulled
we
a
just
disappearing
captured.
act when we shot down our first UFO. And let me guess, you want to poke around in its head too.
Good thing
This
we
is the
captured
next
it.
piece of the puzzle.
Guys, you
And
remember we
this
captured it, right?
Instead of shooting it, I suggest we try to capture it alive.
Guys, we already did this. Did you forget that we already did this? We just had a cinematic about it. It was like 2 minutes ago. Okay. Their early onset of memory loss aside, interrogating the floater gives us a basic armor research credit, so we can get our basic armor done twice as fast once we start that. With that complete, we get on to our muton autopsy, earning us a gene mod that, yup, we'll discuss at a later date. We turn heavy laser research back on. Next, we remember that we failed to give our new fighter in South America a phonics cannon, so we buy one of those and equip it. Next, I want to build a satellite uplink, but sadly I am one stinking engineer short. So we go back to scanning, the third access lift completes, and we start building a workshop so that we can get more engies. After that, it's back to scanning, and the council has a mission for us in Canada. Apparently a city has gone dark and they want us to investigate and promise to calm Canada down in exchange. Now, panic reduction by itself is not a very good reward. And as I know what the mission is, how risky it is, and how the reward does not meet said risk, they shouldn't be doing this. At the same time though, it's a chance at a lot of XP, and more importantly, it's kind of awesome. In a cinematic way. Long story short, if I was doing this in a private playthrough with no viewers, I'd turn down this request. But for you, the beloved ex-communist, we are going to grab our laser guns and do something really stupid. Besides that, Canada is near rioting, so calming down the Great White North isn't the worst idea. We definitely could use some maple syrup and some recruits with hockey player mentalities. Actually, the more I think about it, we should recruit hockey players. I bet they'd be great at this job. I'd be perfectly willing to put up with them saying sorry, refer to capturing aliens as bagging and tagging, and unnecessary use in the word color in exchange for soldiers willing to lose a couple of teeth for a good cause. I think we need to start a recruitment drive in the NHL. What? Did I really do that? Did I really misspell hypothesis in my mission name table? I'm a scientist for random number generator's sake. Sit in next week as we make a strategically poor but cinematically rich decision and accept Operation Retro Hypothesis. Until then, I'm Spliced, and I need to run my mission name table through a spell checker.